We all know what ChatGPT is, but do we know all there is to it? You'll be surprised by some of the facts in this video because there's more than meets the eye. Before we dive into the details of how it actually works, let's set some background. You may have heard of OpenAI. If not, then pretty much everything in this video will be new to you because OpenAI is the company that created ChatGPT. Like Dr. Frankenstein and his monster, if it could answer questions and assist you with tasks like composing emails, essays, and code. But this company was founded in December of 2015, which doesn't sound very old, but is somehow almost 8 years ago. The founding team was composed of Sam Altman, Greg Brockman, Aya Sutskever, Wojciech Zaremba, John Schulman, and most notably, Elon Musk. You know, the PayPal guy, the SpaceX guy, the Tesla guy, and the Neuralink guy. He's quite the character, but more on him later. OpenAI was started with the intention of creating AI and machine learning tools for video games and other recreational purposes. The founding team brought together their various talents in technology entrepreneurship, machine learning, and software engineering to form this company dedicated to enhancing artificial intelligence for the benefit of humanity. Sounds a bit heroic when you say it that way, but who knows? Maybe ChatGPT will save our lives one day. And believe it or not, ChatGPT wasn't the only project this company made, because before they created a chatbot, they were working on AI models, specifically GPT models. This is where it can get a bit confusing, so bear with me. GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer, and ChatGPT is powered by that AI model. It's essentially a chatbot that runs on GPT, hence the name ChatGPT. But what is this Generative Pre-trained Transformer? I'll assume that most of you, like me, don't have a degree in computer science and will explain it in a way that normal humans can understand, or in other words, English. We say generative because unlike a network that will give you a yes or no answer, GPT can generate long sequences of words. Basically, it can write a sentence and it's pretty darn good at doing it. If you ask the right questions, it'll write a whole essay too, but it's not like I've ever done that. And what does pre-trained mean? It's not like they took GPT to the local PetSmart and give it pet training lessons. No, this kind of training is much more in-depth, even if it is hard to get a poodle to sit. There are 2 steps to this training process. And the first is called unsupervised learning, and I ain't talking about leaving a bunch of kindergartners in a classroom by themselves. Essentially, the AI model is given huge volumes of text from various sources, such as books, articles, web pages, and other data without specific instructions on what to learn from it. Using all of that information, the AI is able to predict what word will come next in a sentence. Think about it this way, if you read thousands of books on the internet, you'd probably be able to tell what word comes next here just from that information. Hi, how are you? Thanks to all of the data, it is able to form contextual relationships and it knows the most likely word to go in that spot. But being able to predict words is only the first part. After unsupervised learning comes the fine-tuning process. This is where it is taught to do specific tasks to make it more useful. It's where the AI model is taught how to answer a question, translate, or summarize. The model learns to create more relevant and accurate replies or predictions for certain tasks by fine-tuning on those tasks. And that is a process of pre-training in a nutshell. A very large nutshell. The massive ones that would win first place at a county fair. I mean, a nutshell this size could feed more people than Jesus with 2 loaves of bread. But we're not even done yet. The last part of the acronym, T, stands for Transformer, and I don't mean these guys. The term Transformer refers to the network structure on which GPT models are based. Because of its ability to capture long-term connections and efficiently model their interactions, the Transformer design has become a popular choice in processing jobs. The Transformer's main concept is the use of attention mechanisms. When processing each word, the model can pay attention to different sections of the sentence. It allows the model to capture associations between words that are separated by a long distance, which is very crucial for understanding context clues. And if you understood all of that right away, congratulations, you're just as qualified as I am. Otherwise, feel free to rewind a few seconds. So now we know how GPT works. We've dissected the acronym and looked at all its insides like a frog in biology class. But it didn't start out with the capabilities of ChatGPT, of course. The first demonstration of GPT was in June of 2018. You remember that group of masterminds that started OpenAI in 2015? Yeah, it took them 3 years to come up with this stuff. Maybe if they hit subscribe, they would have seen this video and known exactly how GPT works, just like you do. But like I was saying, the first version was GPT-1. Shocker. It set the foundation for the ChatGPT we know and love today, as well as demonstrated the power of unsupervised learning. Its capabilities were more limited, of course. So limited, in fact, that it only had 117 billion parameters. Crazy, right? That's one thing we haven't covered yet. A parameter is basically just a piece of knowledge that the model learned during pre-training. It's through this captured information that the model learns representations of the words and their relationships. For reference, the human brain has roughly 100 trillion parameters. So GPT-1 can't learn nearly as well or as much as we can, but that just shows how much brain capacity that it has. These capabilities were still impressive for its time. But there's still someone we've forgotten about. Elon Musk, the guy who literally named his kid X-A12. I think that's how you pronounce it. Before GPT-1 came out, Elon left the company. He said it was to avoid any potential conflict of interest with his own company, Tesla, which is utilizing its own AI in their vehicles. He didn't agree with what OpenAI was doing and decided to step down. Nowadays, he's an active critic of the company, but he might just be salty because ChatGPT is so popular. This video isn't about billionaire drama though, so we'll move on. Less than a year later, the new update dropped and GPT-2 was released to the world. Except it wasn't. Due to worries about potential misuse and the model's ability to generate large amounts of realistic-looking information, OpenAI initially decided not to expose it to the public right away. The amazing creation capabilities of GPT-2 brought up ethical and safety issues, and some thought it might be possibly used to create fake news. And I don't blame them. Some of the stuff nowadays is crazy. I mean, the US presidents are literally playing Minecraft, and it's thanks to AI. So they released GPT-2 in stages, slowly increasing the model's size as they gained more and more confidence in controlling the risks. Because as you might remember, OpenAI wanted to make sure that AI was benefiting humanity. So it finished rolling out by November of 2019. It demonstrated a significant improvement in text creation capabilities and generated coherent, multi-paragraph text. People were amazed at its upgrade to 1.5 billion parameters, which is over 10 times more brainpower than GPT-1. It was especially proficient at producing human-like text responses and could write more coherent articles. Later in June of 2020, GPT-3 came out. It was a significant step ahead as it was trained on 175 billion parameters. Because of its extensive text generation capabilities, it has found a large use in a wide range of applications, from drafting letters and writing actual articles to creating poetry and even generating code. It was also able to answer factual questions and communicate between languages. The launch of GPT-3 was even cooler than when Elon launched a Tesla into space. It established the turning point in which the world began to recognize the groundbreaking technology. Despite the fact that the models had been around for a while, it was only with GPT-3 that people were able to interact with ChatGPT directly, ask it questions, and receive thorough and useful solutions. Which brings us to the main point, ChatGPT. Until the release of this online chatbot in November 2022, normal people like you and me wouldn't really interact with the GPT models. Sure, they were utilized by researchers and integrated into some text-based game interactions, but not really used by the common man. But now that it had become easily accessible, it would have significant impacts in customer service, education, content creation, business, entertainment, and even healthcare. Just imagine, hey ChatGPT, how do I perform a triple bypass? Other companies are noticing the popularity of ChatGPT and have been trying to incorporate their own chatbots into their products. That's where Google Bard and Snapchat AI came from, both essentially piggybacking off of ChatGPT's massive popularity. ChatGPT's journey from concept to influential AI model shows artificial intelligence's rapid progress. This game-changing model has accelerated AI development and sparked innovation across a wide range of industries. However, the journey is far from over. The trend of massive improvement continues with the development of GPT-4, which was released on March 14, 2023. Model alignment has been improved, allowing it to match the user's intention more accurately. There's reduced likelihood of producing offensive or harmful output, which is probably for the better. And above all, the most recent addition is the ability to do real-time internet searches. Unfortunately, this godlike AI model is trapped behind a paywall of $20 a month. That's right, you can currently only access GPT-4 through a subscription called ChatGPT Plus. I personally don't plan on buying it, but it is rumored to have about 1.76 trillion parameters. This is once again 10 times more brainpower than the previous version. And if you remember, the human brain is roughly 100 trillion, so it's only a matter of time before AI models are just as smart as we are. But that's a topic for another video. Essentially, you've just learned everything you need to know about ChatGPT, how it works, the history, and even some drama. But there's still one secret, a glitch with ChatGPT. If I ask it, what should you do after watching this video, it just says, subscribe.